All right,
All right.
being recorded. We are now ready. So we're at the table. We just got done. You just kind of went through our whole listing presentation, and I hit you with, "Hey, that was awesome, Nick. Thank you so much." Just to be honest, though, this is definitely more than we were wanting to pay. So, is there anything you can do on the commission?
Yeah, Tyler, thank you for bringing that up. I think you're absolutely correct to be concerned about, every dollar that you can walk away with out of this. In fact, as well. But before we get started, I just want to understand, when you talk about wanting to pay lower commission, what you're really concerned about here is kind of the net price, what you're walking away with from the closing table. Is that correct?
I mean, yeah, bottom line is definitely most important.
So yeah, so you want to make sure that you're maximizing the amount of money that you're walking away with. And if you were to pay a little bit more in commission, but you walk away with more money at the end, that would probably be all right with you.
I mean, I think we'd like that, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, Tyler, I can tell you I'm not the cheapest agent in town. I mean, you can hardly throw a rock these days without hitting a realtor. And I'm sure you can interview a lot of people who'd be willing to cut their commission. But before we get started here, I just want to understand, is this a test?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I'm just asking because sometimes people people are going to say that, and they're trying to test me because one of my primary roles is that I'm here to negotiate on your behalf. And this is effectively the first time that we're negotiating. And if I were to just fold and say, yeah, I'll do it for less, what does that tell you about what I'm going to do when it comes to actually fighting for you to get top dollar for your house?
You're already winning me over.
Okay. Well, what else is it going to take? No, I'm just kidding. But what I can tell you, Tyler, and I'd be happy to show you, evidence for this. Our team tracks data, and we average 4% more per sale for the overall sale of your house. You're walking away with 4% more than you would with other agents, most likely. Now, if that means that you're going to pay 1% extra in commission, I see that as you're walking away with net 3% more than you would in other places. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I think it's definitely starting to make sense. And I do actually like the fact that he is not just giving in to our demands. You know what I mean? So what does that say about him as a negotiator if he just folds?
Probably not the best.
He sucks.
Well, I can understand this is important to you, and I'd imagine that you probably talked to other agents or are going to talk to other agents as well, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're our last, and you're the most expensive.
Okay. When you were talking to these other agents, there's one of the ways, for example, that we get a better price for your house is we try to get more eyeballs of people who are actually qualified and in the market for a house like yours. Can you understand how that would result in more offers, allow us to drive the price up?
Yep.
We use a program called Zillow Listing Showcase, which is really not available to many teams at all. In fact, Zillow has to offer it for those teams to be able to use it. So I'm curious, when you talk with those other agents and they kind of described how they were going to use Zillow Listing Showcase to help get more eyeballs on the house, what was the plan that they laid out to use that to help market your house in a stronger manner?
And because we're out of time, we're going to stop, but that was fantastic. Good job. You were crushing it, baby. Leave the Cobber. Yep. So the objection is we're at a listing appointment and they say, I just want to make sure I say it correctly. Commissions are too high. I want to pay less. The scenario is you've already gone through the listing presentation. You're the last one to present. You're the most expensive, and we think you're too high.
Yeah, Tyler. Honestly, I like what I'm hearing, but you're the last one that we've interviewed, and you're actually the highest. So, I mean, kind of, is there anything you can do regarding the commission here?
For sure. I totally respect you saying that. I honestly thought you were going to say that too. I can totally understand. I am honestly one of the more expensive agents when it comes to, commission and that thing. And, if I was in your shoes, I probably wouldn't want to pay more to sell my house anyways. I guess, let me ask you, at the end of the day, is your biggest goal, like you mentioned before, to sell for the most amount of money and net the most amount of money at the end of the day? Or is it paying as little as commission as possible? Or just help me understand, I guess, where you're coming from?
Well, the way we see it, when we're running our numbers, they definitely contribute to each other. And we're for sure wanting to walk away with the most possible. So it's a contributing factor for sure.
100%. So, and I know you mentioned you've met with a few other agents in the past. They charge less. They charge less, and everything like that. So, you know, with us charging more and all that we do there, you know, what was the biggest, I guess, difference as far as, you know, what we cover, what those other agents cover in their commissions, like the difference there? What are you willing to, I guess, give up if we were to, you know, lower our commission on our side?
Well, we like what you have to offer. We would just like you to do it for what they're charging.
For sure. You know, I love that you say that. It's almost like, you know, most people when they get something, price is important, but in experience and, you know, getting the job done at the end is the end goal. Like you mentioned, it's like when you're going to book a vacation, you want a good experience with you and your wife. Are you gonna pay more for the Ritz-Carlton, or are you gonna go to the Holiday Inn because it's cheaper? Well, you want the good experience. So, you know, I can most definitely lessen our commission, but that's going to go with eliminating a lot of those things that we do differently than those other people, which is going to, in the end, get you that goal. So if commission is your biggest thing, you know, I'm more than confident we can sell your home and get you top dollar with also paying that more commission than these other people, just due to the things that we do to get your property in front of more eyes and ultimately make you more money.
I don't know. I think I got to think about it.
What do you do different?
Well, everything we just talked about. Not many agents are gonna, you know, like I said, I don't just get listings just to have them sit in the market. You know, the market, like I mentioned, has started to slow down. You know, I'm gonna actively, like I mentioned, go out, door knock the entire neighborhood, see if anyone else has other potential buyers for this property that you know, maybe wouldn't get first off.
This time. That was
Great job.
very good. Thank you, Cobber. All here. Moving on to the championship round is the Buccaneer. You see him, he's like flexing a little bit. He's like, so, okay, first off, both were awesome. You're both gonna get it. It doesn't matter, but if we had to pick one, Buccaneer. Feedback. Here, hold on. There you go.
Yeah, one thing that Nick did really well, and Tyler, I'm sure you would have got there. I kind of just threw that back at you, but just always one of the good things to do is revert back to our statistics and why ours are, you know, what we track on our side, right? We charge a little bit more commission on our side, or on our side. However, we look to net more proceeds to that of you. So if it is really coming down to that, what you laid out, Nick, is it going to be a 1% difference on my commission than that of the other people? But I'm going to net you here 4% more. So technically you'd be getting 3%. And you said that the bottom line was your dollar. I'm going to be netting you more money than those other agents. So that's a great thing to always revert back to when having that conversation.
Yeah, especially when it's dealing with numbers, something that you can tangibly show them is going to always help move that needle. That's why I gave you, where did we go?
Yeah.
That's why I gave you I got to think about it, because you didn't use any specifics. Whenever you're using the you get what you pay for analogy, you got to have something you can compare it to.
Yeah. I just think this can always go so many different ways. That's why it's so hard to do in a controlled 2-minute, whatever,
Yeah.
2.5 minute thing. I like that you started it with a kind of a question. It was more like an assumptive question. Like, hey, I assume it's bottom line is what we're focused on. I just would, if somebody gives you a commission pushback, it's more than likely you just didn't articulate your value good enough. But you also may have been explaining something to them that hasn't addressed their need yet. Like, maybe they care about the move and all that process more so than the marketing or something like that. And if we can deliver a seamless transaction for them, they're willing to pay more. Like, maybe they just didn't hear that from us. So I would just really encourage you guys to like stop and be like, hey, I totally appreciate the question. Like, that's my apologies for not explaining something correctly. Where did this come from? You know, like, what is the biggest reason you're asking this question. Is it because you don't feel that I can net you guys enough money or more money than the other agents, or is it something else? You know, and if it truly is bottom line, then yeah, you just go back to statistics. But my point is sometimes it's more than just numbers. It's an emotional purchase for a lot of people. So, you know, they may just feel differently about being on Zillow compared to what other people talked about. So I would just don't ask us an assumptive question right away. Just keep it open ended and then go wherever. But who else has some good feedback, or who else has had this situation where they just could not overcome it and they ended up having to discount? Anybody?
Oh my fucking God.
Everybody's doing really good.
It's only a matter of a couple weeks before your brother have his license.
Some clients last year I had, they basically just laid up a townhouse in my lap cash. It was really quick and easy. And this is somebody I've known for a long time. He's like, Jeff, this is a lot of money. And so essentially we signed it where if I sold it over X amount of dollars, I would have my regular commission. And if I let it go below that commission point or the sale price, then I would slide it down.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, he respected that, and he still netted more. So
yeah,
Production based scale.
yeah.
Yep.
Because I also wanted to ask you guys, what would you say if you, I've asked TK this 100 times, what do you do differently? If somebody straight up asks you that, everybody can put a house on the market. What does Tyler Miller's team or Obvious Real Estate do differently?
Just compared to other agents.
Yeah. If somebody says, hey, houses are selling fast, why can't somebody else put it on the market for cheaper? Everybody's getting multiple offers in 1 week. And what are you going to do differently? I really
lean on our statistics from past, just showing that, hey, over, you know, the last 5 years, we've been tracking these numbers. We are netting our clients 4% more money. And that's like a real number that I can show them the whole spreadsheet. We track every single one. And so I think having those stats readily available for you guys is very important. Know your numbers, because most agents have no idea what their numbers are. So, and especially as the market's starting to shift, your numbers are going to look even better. So I would just say, always have the stats. You know, you can sell them faster, you can sell them for more, but then I would go into like probably some sort of the transaction coordination, like the experience type stuff, where it's like, yeah, anybody can sell the house. That's actually not the hard part. The hard part is getting it to closing, making it stress-free, seamless, that type of stuff. So, you know, I'm not saying I'm worth 5% more, but I think the things that we do is probably worth about 1% more than the average agent, which is going to net you 3% more money and have a better experience. And then typically they agree, but if they don't, then you just make a judgment call. Is this the right person you want to work with? You know, or was it Cobber? Were you talking about like taking stuff away if you had to go down? Like you could always go there too. Be like, if you don't see the value in some of the stuff, I'm more than happy to, you know, decrease a couple things. But here's the biggest mistake, guys. Don't just immediately like give up like 1% or something like that. I think it's appropriate to be like, what do you think is fair? I ask that question all the time. Like, okay, I hear you. So I was coming in at 3.5%, 4% on the listing side. What do you think is fair? They might say like 3.2. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it's maybe not as bad as you think it's going to be. But if they say like 2%, then you just have to be like, yeah, it's probably just not what I do. And I can get you in touch with somebody else that can do it at a discount for you.
So to add to Tyler's thoughts, for our team, stats, support, staging, we pay for. I don't think a lot of teams or agents pay for staging. Hammer, professional photography. Everybody's gone on Zillow and saw homes, maybe gone and seen homes where they say, boy, this looks way worse in person than it does in photography. Or they've just seen other listings, I guess my point was, that have really horrible photography. People have taken them themselves or whatnot. Stat support, what else? Oh, the big one then for us too, we have 25, 30 agents on our team. If everybody, and I'm probably the most at fault for not sharing other people's stuff as well, but if everybody on our team shared every single listing, instantly we have 50,000 eyeballs on it or more. So it's huge. And that's just in our team, but yeah, and we lean on your guys' team, Pemberton, our group. So we just hammer that stuff home, or I do anyways, and hopefully it helps.
Yeah, I would just say in years past, doing a listing at like a slight discount was maybe advantageous because the house is going to sell immediately. Like it was quote unquote guaranteed money to get a listing. Who knows where the market's going? I think if rates drop, we'll be back to that. But if they don't, I mean, we're definitely in a more balanced market. And so you have to guard your value when it comes to listings. Like it will be more work for you than it has ever been before to sell a listing over the next couple months for sure. So like if you're sitting here like, oh, I'll just do the discount, it's going to sell. And then you end up doing 2 open houses every weekend for the next 2 months and your client hates you and then they cancel. That wasn't worth it at all.
Not a good use of the time.
So like guard your value. You guys are all worth 4% on the listing side it's not even a question. The fact that you're here right now means that you actually care about your business and are looking to deliver value to your clients. So like just stand firm by that. And if they're questioning it, you're just not articulating it. You're not setting expectations properly, and you're probably not using the listing presentation that your team or broker just provided to you. So, but with that being said, anybody else have anything else you want to ask or add? All right, let's move on to Jack versus Liz. All right.
I get it.
Perfect.
I'll go first.
All right, Liz, let's see what we got cooking here for you. Okay. Are you ready for your objection? You have your mic? All right, the objection is, I only want to buy new construction. Resale homes are overpriced. So in this scenario, I think this scenario should be new construction homes are maybe slightly out of their budget,
Okay.
right? So it's like you got to have that conversation with them about maybe not gonna be able to afford new. The only way we're gonna get you a house is resale existing homes. Okay.
Okay.
So, there might be some sort of idea that resale homes are a little overpriced right now, overinflated. Help us feel better.
Okay.
So let us know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. She is ready. Are you ready? Are you fucking ready? Do you want it to be? It could be whatever you want, baby.
Yes.
It's your world. We're just living in it.
Today it is.
I mean, it's inside Prestige, so whatever you want. Okay. First time home buyer? Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe we're at a buyer consultation, right? We're already done, and I kind of hit you with that. So
Okay.
from there, let's take it.
All right. I can see and understand the appeal of new construction. Things like modern finishes, for it being move-in ready, everything's new and fresh. I can totally see the appeal to that.
Mm-hmm.
However, on the flip side, resale homes actually offer far more value per square foot than that of new construction, especially when you know how to find the right opportunities and you're working with the right agent.
I mean, I guess I could see that. You probably get a finished basement, but just like with all the wear and tear and the things we're going to have to do, I don't know. I just feel like there's like a crash coming or there's something happening. Don't you guys think?
Absolutely.
I'm just worried that it's new is just so nice. Like, it's just like perfect.
We only won.
Okay. Yeah, I can totally understand that. Like I said before, I see the appeal to it. Oftentimes, new construction can come with additional costs that some people don't think of, like lot premiums, landscaping, upgraded packages, and even higher taxes. A lot of buyers get to the closing table and they're really surprised. They're very surprised how fast that base price can rise when they start to add what they actually want onto the house. On the flip side of that, resale homes oftentimes include those upgraded things already. Think things like fences, finished basements, patios, or blinds.
So are you saying the prices we're seeing online maybe aren't the like full number?
Correct. That's the base price. Then we start adding in things you want and that price will creep up pretty fast.
Well, what the hell?
Is there a way we can skip all of that, but also get a new house?
Not necessarily. You're going to need to do those finishes. Even if you're picking like the base finishes, that price is still going to rise.
But okay, you're convincing me a little bit that maybe it's not the greatest, it's not as good as it seems, but like,
Mhm.
talk me through how buying an existing home makes any sense. I mean, these homes are older than my parents, and you're wanting me to move in and start my life there. I just feel like it's going to be a huge problem. And, honestly, I just feel like with COVID, the prices got so high that I don't know if it's smart.
Yeah, for like a hand-me-down house.
Yeah, I hear your concern. I definitely do. With those resale homes, the price per square foot is a lot more, it's worth a lot more value. So we can find things that aren't necessarily brand new, but are still just a few years old, and you're going to get a lot more value per square foot with that home.
Wait,
Hold
so
on a minute.
now I like this idea. So concentrating on houses that are only like a few years old,
Yeah,
not like from
not
the
brand new.
70s.
What does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely find some really good opportunities with that. Like I said, who you work with matters. We want to make sure we're getting you the right opportunities. My goal is to inform and educate you. I want to make sure that we're getting to see both options so you know what's out there.
Mhm.
I want you to have an informed decision so that we can make the best choice possible for you, not just looking at what's new and what's fresh, but what's going to be the best for your budget, for your family, and for your long-term goals.
Okay. I just hold on. I need to. Do you have do you have like a thing in your ear? You have like AI in your ear? Good Lord. She's like a machine. That was awesome. I've never been that good at anything. Literally never been that good at anything. Okay.
Still aren't.
So, all right. The objection is I only want to buy new construction. Resale homes are overpriced. So we're at like a buyer consult. You're laying out everything. You realize, in your mind, our budget probably isn't going to hit new construction levels. Like we just can't afford it.
Okay.
So, we got to buy something that's more of a starter home.
Okay.
But in our minds, it's new construction or bust.
What's their price?
Let's just say we're topped at like 350.
Yeah.
But you can't get into new unless it's 450 in this scenario. Okay. Where we're looking. Yeah, don't pitch me on Big Lake. We want to be in Wyzetta. Okay.
Still can't.
New construction in Wyzetta for 350. That's what we want.
Saying you guys want only new.
That's like we're really jazzed up about new. We don't know enough, and we truly feel that resale is like a little overpriced.
Saw a picture online and we're hooked.
Sounds good.
So the last thing I'll say is, if you can't convince us, then we're just gonna like not buy something.
Oh.
Right? All right. When you're ready, sir.
Yeah. So what kind of makes you guys want new construction?
It's perfect.
New.
Love it.
Smells good.
Smells great.
Fair. Those are all great points.
Mhm. It's not as old as my parents.
Yeah. So what's kind of turning you away from anything else out there?
It just seems overpriced. Like what you're getting is just this old,
Outdated.
yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely houses
Weird
on the market
houses.
that aren't
Yeah.
priced correctly and definitely way over what they should be priced at.
Yeah.
But there are some out there that are priced accurately and have been fully renovated. If that's something you would be interested in.
I guess I haven't seen any of those.
Haven't even looked.
No.
Didn't even know this was a thing.
Anything like when we set our search up online, it was like under 2024, F off.
Gotcha.
So we haven't even.
So would you guys be open to possibly taking a peek at some of these fully renovated houses?
I don't even know. What does that look like?
I mean, is it old?
I mean, yeah, some of them could be built 40 years ago, but
like, won't they start to fall apart?
No. So if we do find a house that we like, we can get an inspection and use Marigold Home Inspections and kind of and kind of make sure that house isn't gonna just fall over on you while you're sleeping. But yeah, so that's
When the screws start coming out?
I mean, if you take them out yourself.
I just don't want to do any work. I just don't want to do any work
You
on
don't
that.
do any work.
Yeah.
Look at his hands. He doesn't have his lifting gloves on.
So
He can't-
if you found a fully renovated house for $250 and like it's everything you guys need, would that be a no for you?
I just don't know if that exists.
Here's again, This is all great, Jack. You're doing awesome. But what I'm concerned about is I'm going to buy a 1980s refurbished house. It was lipstick on a pig, and it's overpriced. Okay, so I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah. So
because
and also,
new is obviously priced amazing, and it's better.
yeah. And
there's
what
no
makes-
issues with
what
new
makes you
construction
think
ever.
New
Leading the
priced perfectly.
What was
What
that?
makes you think new construction is priced perfectly in lower?
Well, because a builder wouldn't. I mean, they just list it for what it costs.
Well, do you know what an appraisal is?
Yeah.
Somewhat.
If-
Let's just assume I kind of do.
Okay. And so what an appraisal is someone's going to come out after we get an accepted offer and make sure that we're not overpaying for what the value of that house is.
So it's like a check and balance.
Yeah.
Mm.
So if we were
That
to
makes me
find
feel better.
a house that's not new construction, that same thing would also happen on that house. To make sure you're not overpaying for what that house value is. Actually,
Okay.
market value.
So like, what's your like last little comment you want to make us feel amazing about this?
Yeah, and another thing I could provide for you guys too is I could run CMAs for the houses that we're liking and kind of compare what I think the market value for that house is compared to what they're listing for, and kind of just make sure that it's not overpaying for what that.
All of my worries are melting away. Thanks, Jack.
There it is. No need.
All right, let's get a huge drum roll, a Jay Stoll size drum roll. Moving on to the championship round is the AI robot herself, Liz Hammond. Okay, first off, Jack, nobody would have beat. No one. Liz is. I mean, it was insane. Yours was fantastic as well. Max would have beat her apparently. Have you seen Terminator? You're gonna lose. Liz's middle name is actually Skynet. That's from Terminator. That's an old joke that no one here understands. Okay. First off, Liz, amazing job. It was hard to like try to combat you because I feel like it was so much better than anything I was gonna say. How do you do it? Like honestly, how do you do that? Here. Catch it. There you go.
Yesterday, Brady and I just kind of talked about some key points. Then I just turned those key points into longer notes and just made sure I studied and I was ready for it.
Do you have a photographic mind?
No. Just practice
It
and
was
time.
fine. It was really
On point. Yeah.
I still don't.
It's got an earpiece.
That was really good. But let's give feedback. That is really quick.
I think.
Oh, you don't think I can catch it?
All right. So I think one of the biggest things to help understand this is just, trying to figure out why the person or why your buyers feel that way of new construction. I think what we really want to uncover there is to see, yes, we tried to lead on a little bit saying we don't want older homes like 1970s homes, but I think a lot of options that people miss out on are like new construction builds. So there's so many homes that are available from that of like 2020 or newer. And I think if we would have went that direction, it would have been where we wanted it to go and just say those things in routes. But one of those things is when having a conversation with people is understanding what their budget is, making sure their expectations are realistic, because you run into it all the time. People have this champagne caviar taste on a ramen noodle budget, right? It's just not going to work. So one of those things you just want to make sure to level set them and saying like, hey, we might not be able to get everything you want there in the new construction. What would it look like at looking at something here, say 2020 or newer, right? Which there are a ton of options out there in the market.
Very good points.
Yeah, leveraging questions to truly understand like kind of why they're feeling that way. Like what has you concerned about existing homes, right? But then playing the what if scenario is really valuable here too. Maybe they have their heart set on something brand new. Well, if you go over to like Winthrop, I'm sure you can find something new for under 300, right? So it kind of depends on like how badly do they want that, painting that picture for them. And if you can paint that picture, they get to pick now. It's not about you anymore. It's about, well, hey, do you want to have a brand new house and go another hour away? Or would you rather have something in your location, right? So just truly understanding where their like top priorities are and then giving them their options.
I love D-Money. Okay. So here's the thing. Both your guys' answers were like calculated really good. I was really looking for someone to like kick us in the balls. A little bit. Because this is like a really stupid opinion for somebody to have, and in my opinion, like I only want new because it's perfect. I think we said that like 4 times. Neither of you guys were like, they're not perfect, first off. You know, I'm sure there's people in here, Herman, you've done new construction deals, right? Like, they're not perfect. Jack, you may have bought a new house that probably wasn't perfect. Like, but a lot of people, that's like their go-to, right? They're like, but it's like we get the warranty and it's new and there's no old fingernails in the carpet and whatever, right? That's what they care about. But it's like, just because it's new doesn't mean it's gonna be perfect. All homes are gonna have issues. So what's more important? Is it having a new shiny house, or is it having something in your budget? Right. And I think this is the type of conversation where you guys were delicately like not trying to like make me feel bad, which I appreciate. And I think if we had longer time, you would have got to the come to Jesus conversation, obviously. But don't forget, you have to tell them like, hey, we just pulled up the search on the TV here in our conference room where you want to be. Your budget does not allow new construction. Okay. If you want new, you got to go to Winstead, what you said? Winthrop, sorry. You got to go to wherever, Kentucky?
It's outside of Blaine.
Yeah, it's Blaine, Kentucky. Or you're going to buy an existing home and hear all the advantage of existing homes. And so I just don't feel like you can't have hard conversations with people. Like that's what they're coming to you for, especially a first-time home buyer. Like they just don't know. They're just thinking like, I want new.
I have something to say.
Sure, go ahead.
But
Do you need both, Mike?
painting a picture for no. If they're that desperate to get in a new construction home, you guys, how many people buy and sell multiple times in their lifetime? Paint that picture for maybe the next house or the following house, and that they need to get in that barrier of entry first so they can use equity to get into the new construction later.
Mhm.
It's okay to think a little bit bigger picture and to think you can't have the new construction house right now.
Mhm.
But if you buy one right now, get your foot in the door, get a decent deal on it, and then put some equity into it, put some sweat equity, get a little renovation going, buy that in 5 years. Now you have probably a better new construction home than you probably would now.
Yep.
So 2-step it, 3-step it, something like that.
I have something to say. Again, for me, it's set expectations properly. Otherwise, you're going to end up going down this long, winding road with buyers who are looking for something that they can't get, that doesn't exist, and you're just going to waste time. And then they're going to run into a realtor that brings them something, and they're going to work with them. So, like, don't be afraid to have that conversation up front. Maya. Right. Yeah, for those on Zoom, she was just saying, ask, what does overpriced mean to you? Always asking questions is like such a great go-to. The only other thing I was thinking was like the cost of waiting. You know what I mean? Like you guys could have maybe went down that road of like, we can wait for new, but you know, and if rates do come down, then maybe we can afford new construction, but now those prices are probably higher. And so this is what's going to cost you. And so I like your scenario though of like, let's just get this now, and then maybe in a few years we can upgrade, right? So any other thoughts or questions on this one? No, it's kind of a random one, but you guys did great.
You don't want to do all these repairs to the house. You brought that up a bunch. I think I would just bring up, well, let's get a home warranty.
Right.
Just right back at you, you know?
Maybe a multi-year home warranty. Ooh. Okay, moving on to the championship round, we got Liz versus the Bacchinator. Here we go.
Team Bay.
Team Bays. It's for potentially $500,000, so no big deal. Okay. I don't want to sell in a buyer's market. I'll lose money.
Okay. Again, after a listing presentation, or when we're just chopping it up and they're saying,
On the phone. Or yeah, we're on the phone chopping it up.
we're on the phone chopping it up.
Yep. Now let's just clarify this now. Do they need to buy a house or not?
Yeah.
No.
I think that's too easy if they need to buy a
Too
house.
easy for that. Yeah. Go no.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
What does Nate say? Buy a house, yes or no?
Yeah, let's do not.
Championship.
Yeah.
They don't have to buy a house.
Okay.
Okay, so they're like, I don't have to buy. I'm just liquidating.
Do we,
this
does it
entity.
matter if it's, I guess I could ask, is it rental or second house, cabin?
Primary.
They're just primary. They're just ready to sell.
Primary residence. Okay.
They're just worried that in a buyer's market they'll lose money.
Okay.
So convince me why I should put it on the market now.
Well, Tyler, I appreciate you taking time to talk today. And, quite frankly, I'm not really sure that you should sell. I mean, what even has you thinking about selling in the first place?
It's just time. Like we've been waiting to kind of retire, and this is, we already got the cabin up north, and we're just kind of ready to sell.
Kind of alleviate some of that responsibility, some of the costs associated with home ownership.
Yeah. I mean, we don't spend a ton of time here anymore. So it just seems like the right time for our life, but the market, based on the videos that your team's been putting out, seems like it's kind of shifting a little bit.
Yes, you've been seeing stuff that it's kind of shifting towards a buyer's market.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess when you say buyer's market, what exactly does that mean to you, or why does that give you hesitancy when it comes to selling?
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like there's maybe going to be a chance the house sits on the market longer, and maybe we lose some money.
Yeah. I mean, I guess one thing I just want you to consider as we're talking here, and this isn't one way or another, but the longer that you sit, the more you're going to be paying an interest, the more, you're going to be paying and maintaining the home and keeping it upright. So there are some costs associated with staying, but I think some of that information is also very interesting. Do you mind if I just kind of explain the market real quick?
Sure.
Buyer's market typically means that there are less buyers in the overall market than there are of sellers.
More buyers.
More buyers, less buyers than there are sellers, right?
In a buyer's market, there's more buyers.
More buyers.
Yep. Like it's a good market to buy.
Yeah, it's a good market to buy. Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, I was.
No, it's all right.
Okay. More buyers than there are sellers. But we're in a pretty unique opportunity. Since you've been watching this stuff, I'm sure you probably saw average days on market right now. Isn't that kind of 35 to 40 range, right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah. What's fascinating about that is actually kind of what we call like a bimodal distribution. So homes that are priced correctly are actually selling in 7 to 14 days, typically 3 to 7% over asking price, where homes that aren't priced correctly are taking months, and many of them aren't selling at all. So I think we're in a very unique market here where we have buyers in the marketplace looking for the right homes. And if we price and market your home properly, get it sold in a matter of days, you're not stuck with these costs. You're not stuck maintaining the home, get you guys up to the cabin, and you just don't have to worry about it.
So because the championship round,
yeah,
that was really good. But what my thought is it might make sense to wait until the Fed reduces the interest rate, right? Because that's coming. And assuming that happens, it's more than likely going to bring in more buyers. We're going to be able to maybe sell it in multiple offers, more money. What do you say to that?
Absolutely, Tyler. So I love that line of thinking that you have, and you've obviously thought about what happens when the interest rate does start to go down. What do you think other people are going to be doing? And what are they thinking about what's going to happen with the interest rate when they're thinking about when they're going to sell their house?
I mean, a lot of our neighbors are having the same conversations. They're trying to time it right.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I worked with some people recently. We're thinking the exact same way that you are. They've been talking to other people who are also waiting for it to sell as well. They decided to list their home. We sold it for $10,000 over asking. Got it moved right away because the market does not have as many sellers right now. So it could, if it's a good time for you to move, I think it could be a ripe opportunity for you to move and really capitalize on the shortage of homes that are in the market right now.
Let's get it going. The objection is, I don't want to sell in a buyer's market. I'll lose money. The scenario is we're just chopping it up on the phone. Maybe we know each other. I've expressed I have a need in selling, but I don't have to buy a house. Okay, so you can't use that one. I strictly want to sell, but I'm just worried that with the market shifting, I'm going to lose money.
Okay.
So give me some reasons as to why. Maybe it's a good time to do it.
Okay.
Ready when you are.
I'm ready.
Okay. So take it away.
Okay.
I hit you with that objection.
I hear you, and I'm actually really glad that you brought that up. May I start by asking you a question first?
Absolutely.
What makes you think it's a buyer's market? Is it something you've read, or are you seeing homes sit on the market a little bit longer?
Yeah, it's a lot of the videos that you and your team are pushing out. It just seems like, I saw your team leader posted that there's been a bunch of price reductions recently and that it's starting to shift a little bit. So I'm just worried that our timing is going to be off and we should just wait.
Sure, I see how you feel. Sometimes media can paint a really broad picture. In reality, real estate is hyper local. We are still seeing some neighborhoods go in multiple offers, and even in those recent market shifts, how you list that home is what's really going to make the big difference.
Okay. So you don't think I'm going to lose money? Like how, give me some reasons that might be the case.
Yeah, let me explain that to you. Our listings all get professional photography done. We all have staging done. We'll do video tours, social media ads, and we have a premium spot on Zillow Showcase. So even in a crowded market, your home will stand out to buyers.
So I love that. And that's why I want to work with you guys, but I just don't know if now in the market is the right time, because you guys will do that no matter what.
Yeah.
Right. So assuming you're going to do all those things now and later, I just feel like when the interest rates come down a little bit, like it's supposed to because of inflation, wouldn't that be just a better time to put it on the market and capitalize? Because I don't have anything else going on other than we're going to the cabin and we're going to live up there. So I can time this perfectly.
Okay.
We can wait. Yeah. It's paid off.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always the cost of waiting. Even if rates were to go down, other inventory could go up. While you guys are waiting, who knows what's going to come on the market? Could just be that much more competitive for you guys. Another thing too, even in those recent market shifts, our team consistently sells homes for 4% more and 3.5% faster than that of the average agent.
Yeah, it's still the timing concerns.
Yeah. I mean, Liz, if you're going to put your own house on the market, are you putting it on right now or are you waiting until there's less inventory? Because I feel like, 30% more homes, according to your video that you put out, and 19% price reductions. It just seems like, I don't know, a little scary of a time.
Yeah. I think the best timing to put your house on the market is when you're ready and whatever is best for you. Our team is there to back you no matter what those recent market shifts are going to be. We want to make sure that you have all the information before making a decision.
I really kind of want to just go to the cabin.
Yeah.
Let's just list it.
Okay.
Good job. So good. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, again, I've never been that good at anything in my life between Liz and Bachinator. That was amazing. And again, like we don't really say this often, but good job everybody getting up in front. I know it's not easy. Like you guys make it look way too easy. Let's give them a round of applause.
Good job, everybody. So good.
I wish I'd have had something like this when I was first starting. Like I would have been terrified. So you guys are freaking crushing it. Okay. Let's get Nick and Liz up here. I'll get my prizes. Here, here, you can give that and you can give that.
Rightfully so.
Okay, let's see. Where should I stand? I'll get out of the way.
Yeah.
I'll get out of the way. Hold on. Okay, drum roll. The winner of the script battle and potentially $500,000 in the form of a $10 scratch off is Bachinator. Let's go. Hey,
They are full.
I mean,
They are full.
my goodness, great job.
Thank you.
Great job.
Good job, everybody.
My sweaty hands.
First off, you both would have got us to list. I think that's a no-brainer. Like you guys did a great job. But let's you guys can have a seat and then let's give some feedback. Good job. You can come. Can you be my bodyguard?
I think one of the things that you both touched on that was great, but didn't like fully elaborate on is when you run into this objection. A lot of people are just trying to say, I know Tyler mentioned and threw back at you guys saying, we're just going to wait till the Fed is going to drop the rates. Well, that's not always going to be the case, right? As we've seen it multiple times, I've been talking about dropping the rate now for God knows what, 18 months.
2022.
Yeah. And the rates have just been staying pretty consistent. So to say that, we're just going to try and time the market, that's something that everyone tries to do and be like, hey, if that's something that you're going to be doing and we did all the time consistently, we'd all be millionaires, right? Mm-hmm. We're just not there. So just being able to do that and then let them know that, hey, we don't have a crystal ball to really see like what the future is going to hold. But Liz, you touched on it and did a great job of saying like, the best time for you to sell is when you're ready to sell. So
The only thing I would just add is, let's say you can't get them to sign, like you can't get them to agree to it. They're just dead set, right? They're like, I just really think the Fed's going to drop the rate and it's going to be a better time to sell, which could be right. I would lean more on what Corey's saying, where it's like, we don't know if that's happening. We've been waiting forever. Like, I mean, honestly, the best time to sell is when you're ready. I love that answer. Like that's when it matters. But remember, you could always pivot to getting the listing signed and float it in the off-market network. You know what I mean? Like, don't leave that listing without it signed, because they've expressed need, and be like, I totally get it. We don't have to go to the market right now, but let's get it ready. Let's get you with the stager. Let's get the photos done, because the best time to take photography is in the summer anyways. Like, let's just make it look right, and let's float it out there to people within our network. And who knows, if we can get you the price you want, would you sell? And they'll probably say, well, yeah, because eventually something's going to happen in their life where they're just like, just put it on the market. Let's just get it done. So that's one strategy to always have in the back of your mind. Like, don't feel like you got to get them off the market. Just get it signed and start working with them. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the first question was spot on. Why do you want to sell, right? Understanding what that big picture looks like for them. But then the next thing is, when you say like lose money, right? What do you mean, Mr. and Mrs. Seller? When you say lose money, is that having to go underneath list price? Does that mean you're sitting in the market for too long and you can't get anybody to sell it? It's not selling better than selling it for less than list price. So having a true understanding of what they're actually meaning behind that is going to kind of help where to direct them. The second thing is, we don't have a crystal ball, right? We don't know what's going to happen with the Fed, all that jazz, but you can manipulate the market. You can manipulate it by controlling it with what other listings are available in their area and timing when they flip the switch so that they're the only house available in that price range. It's very easy to say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, it's Tuesday. Nobody else went live. You have no houses within a half a mile or 2 miles of your house right now. This is the time to go. Let's do showings this week. And the only way to do that is to get your house ready, get photos done, have every set stage complete so that you can time that correctly. Now you can actually manipulate the market to take away a buyer's market, and now you're the only seller available. Any buyers that are out there have to look at your house. You're a hell of a lot better off doing that than you are going against 2 or 3 other active listings. Price drops or not, you're going to be better off doing that.
Thoughts, questions, any other ways you'd handle this strategy? No?
I don't know if you can hear us on Zoom or
Sometimes.
not.
In this scenario, we said no. But yes, yeah, if you have to buy, it should be a wash. You know what I mean?
Alicia, he said
Depending on what price
Hello?
range you're going in.
that. Do you want me to?
He
For
said
some
what?
reason, going back down to the first time home buyer
He
range.
said if
then
we have
He said
maybe
what?
questions, he said if we have questions to put it in chat. Do you want me to type
Oh,
out?
yeah. Can you type something for me? We all went to that cash buyer program thing. Everyone could have used that too.
Okay.
I mean, it depends how long they've been in the house, right? Like if they've been in the house for 10 years.
Thanks, babe.
they're
I
still
appreciate
selling
you.
high, right? Like, so I think any investor you talk to is going to say it's all about the buy. Like, that's where the deal happens. So if you can theoretically buy and sell at the same time, you kind of want to do it in a buyer's market, because over time you're going to look like a genius if you sit in that house long enough. But if somebody tells you, hey, I'm going to buy this next house for only like 2 years, now then it's a little bit different of a conversation where you're like, I don't know if that's super smart. But if you're like, yeah, I'm going to be here for 10 years. Yeah, I would want to buy low personally. So I think there's going to be a ton of opportunities this summer, and who knows, guys, the market could change tomorrow as soon as they adjust rates or something. But AJ Pedersen in our group just sent a video out yesterday. He watches the affordability index. I don't know if any of you guys saw that one, but basically for the last, I don't know, 5-6 years, the affordability index has been around 200, which means that the average buyer can afford double the house that they're buying. Okay. So if they're buying a $400,000 house, they could actually afford $800,000 for their budget. It's now down to 111 from 200. So affordability of housing is low. Okay. So with inventory stacking up, with the interest rates just kind of hanging out. President's a little distracted right now with some things going on. Who knows? Like, it might be a little longer than we think. So I would just start to have these conversations with your clients, like prepare them for, we will maximize your value based on what we do, but we can't take ownership currently of what that value is going to be. But like in 4 months, we know what it is right now. Who knows? I mean, they just started riots down in Minneapolis 2 days ago. You know what I mean? Like, that could there's a lot of things that could happen. And so it's just helping people understand, like, you can't time this market. It's about time in the market. And the longer you're in your home, the better you're going to look over time. So just take ownership of the market. Don't run from it. And just know that they need us now more than ever because it's a little uncertain. Okay. All right. Now we'll take 10-minute break. 10-minute break. We'll get Herman and his crew queued up, and then, yeah, we'll learn some stuff about home buyer workshops. But thank you guys. Appreciate it.